Yeah, I just credit Maryland today. They beat us. I thought our guys came into the game. We were really excited about the game. We knew it was going to be a high-level NCAA type game with two teams that have been playing really well. You play a team that's 9-0 at home in the league, so you know what you're going to be up against. I've certainly been in here many years and know how hard it is to play in this building. And give them credit. I thought they did a good job. For 20 minutes, I thought we played pretty well. The defense, they were scoring. They were shooting the ball lights out. 14 threes. You got to tip your cap. Some of them were breakdowns of us, but a lot of them were late clock guys just stepping up, making a shot, or end of half. Two guys on Jameer, he just hits a step back, or Martinez making 3 threes, which really isn't the strength of his game. He's a good player, but, banging 3 threes, he banked one in. So, you got to tip your cap to those guys for their shot making. They have a good team. They're difficult to guard. Jameer's really good, but also what Dante and Hakeem can do. They're big wings that can handle the ball and back you down and post and good passers. So they present a lot of problems. Julian Reese is playing great, double-double. So they deserve to win. They outplayed us in the second half. We couldn't keep up with the scoring. It was kind of back and forth in the first half. Both teams were scoring 41-39, and then they were able to get the stops in the second half. We went cold. Credit them for a lot of it. And then when we did get looks, we weren't able, to kind of stem the tide by making some shots. I think we had 3 or 4 that were I thought, in and out. We're halfway down, and that happens. It's basketball. So Kevin's doing a great job. They got a heck of a team. It was it was a good win for them, and for us, it's this league is hard. It's you play good teams. We're not down in any way. We're still excited. We got a big week coming up again, and you just got to learn from these games and go home and try to make it right when you get another opportunity to play.
What did Maryland do that was so effective on Boo tonight?
Well, I think what they do is, the way they play defense, it makes it very hard for you to run your plays. With the matchup zone, with the pressure. It's one of those teams where you have to make plays. You got to find the open areas. It's really hard for you to run a lot of sets against them because of the way they switch and zone and man, and they match up. They do a good job of so you can't. If you're worried about what they're in, they can really paralyze you, but they have good quickness. They have good size. I thought they were making him be a passer, and Boo had 7 assists at half. I actually credited him. I thought he was playing right. He was getting into the paint, and they were making him pass, and he had 7 assists. Second half, I thought we got a little bit stagnant. The ball stuck a little bit more. And it was obvious they were going to try to take him away. And, when that happens, Chase had his moments where he stepped up and kind of, held the offense. But that's where our supporting cast has to continue to, when they get those looks, whether it's Robbie Barron, Ty Berry, Brooks Barnheiser, the big guys, they got to do a good job. But credit their defense. I thought they were swarming. They keep that constant pressure on you all that game long to get into your legs a little bit, and then they scatter the game. They make you make plays, and we didn't do the job we needed to be able to keep up.
Chris, what do you make of the traffic jam towards the top of the league this year, and how exciting is it to be a part of it and playing such meaningful games here in late February, early March?
Yeah, it's incredible. I just think there's so many good teams, and so many great atmospheres. Everywhere you go when you play on the road, it's incredibly difficult to win. We feel fortunate. We have 5 road wins, which is pretty amazing considering all the good teams in this league. It doesn't matter who you play, where you play them. You got to be ready to go. You got to play at a really high level. I thought, we feel good about who we are. We're a good team. We feel like we belong. We feel we can compete. But we got beat today, by a team that played better, and had, just got to the balls quicker, made 14 of 22 threes. And I told our guys, we've just had a stretch of about 6 or 7 in a row where every single one of those teams are going to play in the NCAA tournament. And so this has got to hopefully, make you better as long as you allow, everybody's going to lose a little bit. The best team in the league who's winning the league has lost 4 of their last 5. So, it shows the strength of this league. That everybody's good. You're going to see a lot of teams in the tournament, which is awesome. And the 20-game season, I was telling Kevin before, he's kind of going through it for the first time, and he's doing it beautifully. He's done a remarkable job with his team. But you see when you go through this 20-game Big Ten season, man, it's a grind because all these teams are good. You play in every third day. You got to be ready to go. Great coaches, great players, great atmospheres. And for us, it's just exciting. You know, it's been a few years since we've been in that mix. You know, we've kind of been trying to play for pride, you know, at the end of the season and get a few wins for us to be an NCAA Bowl tournament team, to be still tied for second place. I mean, after 18 games, if you would have said to me before the year you're going to be tied for second, probably would have signed up for it. Now, it didn't feel so good today getting beat, but we got to go home and try to make it right on the next one.
Coach, you mentioned the three-point shooting, and some of your team's tougher losses this year, the teams have really shot well from beyond the arc. What sorts of adjustments do you think you guys need to make sure this doesn't happen again down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, I think some of them were some breakdowns where we lost guys. I would venture to say maybe 6 or 7 of those 14, it was just really good shot making. Like I said, the three at the end, I don't know what you do, the three at the end of the half. I mean, we had 2 guys on Jameer. You know, he hits a step back 27-footer. You know, Ian Martinez banks in a 3 at the end of the shot clock. Carey, you know, hit some big shots late in clocks. So, yeah, I mean, you know, we've been very aggressive in terms of the post-ups. I give them credit. I thought they moved the ball well. You know, for us, we've been a team that's turned people over. You know, and for those guys only have 7 turnovers, it's a credit to how they took care of the ball and got out of the traps and found the right guys. And then still at the end of the day, you got to make the shot and, you know, give those guys credit. I mean, Carey Martinez combined for 7 of 10 from 3. You know, I mean, you look at the number, you know, and that's not to knock them. They're really good players, but that hasn't really been what they've done. So sometimes you got to tip your cap to shot making and a good team that beat you today, and we got to watch the film and hopefully try to do a better job because we play Penn State next, and that's what they do. You know, they're a great three-point shooting team, so we're gonna have to be better on that end.
Coach, you mentioned atmosphere a few times. Can you compare today's type of game where you came in with a lot on the line to your former trips here in the ACC days?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I've always had great respect. You know, I mean, obviously being a part of Duke for, you know, 17 years, you know, 4 as a player. I'm old enough where I played in Cole, you know, so, you know, it's always been a special place to play. I love the game, so this environment is special to me. I think it's one of the better atmospheres you play in. It's got a great fan base. You know, their students are into the game. They get after the opposing team. To me, it's fun. I mean, I've always really enjoyed that. And, you know, for us, we haven't been good enough the last couple of years probably to kind of warrant, you know, that kind of spirited crowd. But, you know, I think for the way the crowd, they knew this was a high-level game. They knew there was a lot on the line for both teams here late in the season. It was loud. They were getting after it, and I've always enjoyed playing here. You know, it's a hard place to play, but I love playing in tough venues, and this one ranks up there. You know, it's right up there with the best I've been in, you know, and through my years.
And, Coach, you talked about how good of a job defensively Maryland did on Bowie. What was Maryland doing right, in your opinion, in the second half on Audiche, who only had 2 points?
Yeah, I just thought with both of our guards, I thought there was just a heavy awareness, you know, on those guys when they tried to drive. They didn't have a whole lot of space. You know, they switch well. They kind of compact in their little matchup zone they play. And they were forcing those guys to be passers. You know, I mean, that was obvious. When they did get into the teeth of the defense, they were really overplaying and making those guys be passers, and we didn't do a good enough job. In the first half, we did. You know, we made some shots. Some other guys, our big Matt, I think, had 4 or 5 baskets in the first half on rolls. You know, we were moving the ball pretty well, and then I thought the second half, maybe as our legs got a little bit tired, as we weren't as sharp, you know, they just did a really good job making those guys give the ball up. And like I said, we got to play right. If that's going to be the case, the ball's got to find the other guys, and we have belief that those other guys can make people pay. We just didn't do it. You know, in the second half, we're 1 for 9 from 3. You know, in the second half, a lot of those were open. You know, and some of those were in and out. And that's basketball, though. You know, sometimes you don't shoot the ball as well, and we got to be better in those areas because good teams are going to try to take our guards away. I mean, they're good players. You know, coaches know what they're doing in this league, and if they're going to do that, we got to be ready to have other guys make them pay.
When you're preparing for this game, questions behind, how different did Maryland look at home versus on the road? And obviously, you knew you had to play here, but what were some things that stood out?
Yeah, I just tried to really focus on their home games because that's who we were going to face. You know, not getting a chance to see them in Welsh Ryan. I know they've looking at the numbers and their splits, And I can't explain it because I think they're really good, but obviously they feed off the energy of this crowd. The press is a little bit more effective at home. I think with their activity, their shooting. I mean, of course, 14 of 22 from three. So there's a lot of teams like that where you hope to, but also the other thing is it's hard to win on the road in this league. I mean, it's no one's like just sweeping through the league and winning every game because it's really hard to go into these atmospheres and win. But they have great energy. They feed off their crowd. They have a good scheme. They play kind of a different style than pretty much everybody else in our conference. So, you have to really take time to prepare for their pressure, prepare for their zone, prepare for the mixing and matching of defenses. So it's a little bit tougher prep because I think they have a different style, and they've found that, and they've done a really good job in kind of creating their own identity with how they play.
Coach, I'm old enough to watch when you played, and you always played hard, you coach hard. That's just a comment.
Thank you.
And I always appreciated it. The question is, your two guards between you were 2 for 17. I can't imagine that happens very often. Yeah,
no, I mean, it's hopefully it's a one-off, where that's not going to happen because we won't win very much, if that's the case. What we do have to do, though, is we have been a team that has found a way to win when we maybe haven't shot it as well. And, we didn't give ourselves a chance by giving up 75 points today. I mean, 41 in the first half, too much. Thought our energy got a little bit better in the second half. But, again, 75 on the road, that's not going to be a recipe for us to win. But to your point, we just got to, we got to make sure we're doing things right, we're playing right. The other team has a lot to do with that. I'm always one of these guys. I'm not big on when coaches will come in here and talk about all the things they didn't do well. A lot of it had to do with Maryland. They just beat us today. They're a good team, and they did a lot of good things. They made shots. They defended us well. They were physical. So a lot of it had to do with them. And then we'll look at the film and see, the areas where we did have our breakdowns or areas maybe we could have attacked better as we move forward. But, I think the story of this game was how well Maryland played because they were better than us today and they deserved to win.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys.